Why are you so ungrateful? My mom said it like she meant it, like she was genuinely confused. I didn't answer her. I couldn't, because I was staring at my phone, at my bank account, trying to understand how everything I had worked for was suddenly gone. Not missing, not reduced, gone. And the worst part, I already knew who took it. My name is Sophie Turner. I'm 21 years old, and for the last 2 years, I wasn't just their daughter, I was their safety net. If you've ever been the responsible one, the one who never says no, the one who always fixes things, then you already know how this story ends, because people don't notice your sacrifices until you stop making them. And by then, it's already too late. It didn't start with stealing, it never does. It started with help. When I got my first job, my parents were proud. "You're so mature," my mom said. "We raised you right," my dad added, and I believed them. So when they asked me to contribute, I didn't hesitate. It was small at first: groceries, electricity, Wi-Fi bill, normal things, reasonable things, things that made me feel like I was part of the family. Just until things get better, my mom would say. And I believed that too, because I wanted to. Because believing your parents are temporary burdens is easier than realizing they might become permanent ones. Months passed, then a year, then another, and nothing changed. Except one thing: the amount they expected from me. It increased, quietly, without discussion, without permission. "Can you cover rent this month? Money's tight again. We'll pay you back." They never did. Not once. At first I didn't notice, because I was busy. University, work, life. Trying to keep everything balanced. Trying to keep everyone happy. But slowly, something started feeling off, because no matter how much I gave, it was never enough. There was always something else. Another bill, another expense, another reason. And every time I hesitated, they used the same line. "You're part of this family, aren't you?" That line kept me quiet for a long time, because it made saying no feel like betrayal. But the real problem wasn't just that they were taking my money. It was where it was going. My younger sister, Lily, she was 19. No job, no responsibilities, no pressure, just freedom. New clothes every month. A new phone last year. Nails done, hair done, weekends out with friends, and not once did anyone ask how she was paying for it, because she wasn't. I was. I didn't say anything at first. I told myself it wasn't my place, that maybe I was overthinking it, that maybe this was just how families worked. Until the day I realized it wasn't. That day started like any other. I had just finished a double shift. My feet hurt, my head hurt, but I felt proud, because after months of saving, I had finally done it. I had enough. Tuition. My way out. My future. Everything I had worked for was sitting in that account, or at least that's what I thought. That night, I opened my banking app and everything changed. The number didn't make sense. Too low. Way too low. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe I miscalculated. Maybe something auto-deducted. But then I checked the transactions, and that's when I saw it. Multiple withdrawals. Same day, same place, home. My chest tightened. Not from confusion, from realization. Because there was only one explanation. They took it. I didn't call, didn't text, didn't think. I went straight home. The entire way there, my heart wouldn't slow down. Not panic, not fear. Something worse. Clarity. When I walked in, everything looked normal. Too normal. TV on. Lights warm. Lily sitting on the couch, laughing at something on her phone. Like nothing had happened. "Where's Mom?" I asked. "In the kitchen," she said casually. Of course, I walked in. She was cooking, humming, smiling. Like she hadn't just taken everything I had. "We need to talk," I said. She turned. "What's wrong?" That smile, that fake confusion, it almost made me laugh. "My money," I said. The smile dropped slightly. "What about it? Why is it gone?" Silence, just for a second. But it was enough. "Oh," she said casually. "We used some of it." "Some," I swallowed. "I need that for tuition," I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. "We'll figure something out," she replied. No urgency, no guilt, just dismissal. That's when my dad walked in. "What's going on?" "They took my money," I said. "Lower your voice," he snapped immediately. "Not what happened. Not is that true. Just control." "I need it back," I said. Silence. Then my mom said it. "We already used it." And in that moment, I knew this wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't help. This was something else entirely. Something I had been ignoring for too long. Then my sister walked in, smiling, and said something that made everything worse. "You didn't tell her?" That's when I realized this wasn't just about money anymore. It was about what they believed I was worth. You didn't tell her? Lily said it so casually, like we were talking about something small. Like I had just missed a detail, not my entire future. My stomach dropped. Tell me what, I asked. Silence, not confused silence, careful silence. The kind people use when they've already decided something, and now they're figuring out how to justify it. My mom sighed. We use the money for something important. Important. That word again. I looked at Lily, still smiling, still relaxed, like nothing was wrong. What did you use it for? I asked. And that's when she said it. My trip, she replied. Just like that. No hesitation, no guilt. My friends and I are going to Greece next week, she added. Greece. I felt something inside me go completely still. Not anger, not sadness, just silence. You took my tuition money, I said slowly, to send her on vacation. No one corrected me, because no one could. She needed it, my mom said. Needed. That word hit harder this time, because now I understood what it meant. It didn't mean necessary, it meant prioritized. She's been stressed, my mom continued. She deserves a break. I stared at her, because I didn't know which part hurt more. The decision or how easily she explained it. I have a deadline tomorrow, I said. My voice didn't shake. It felt distant, like I was watching someone else say it. It's just one semester, my dad replied, again. That same line. Like repeating it would make it less real. You can catch up later. Later. I let out a small breath. Because something inside me was changing, not breaking, shifting. You didn't even ask me, I said. We're your parents, he replied. Like that justified everything. No, I said quietly. You're people who took from me. The room went still. Because that wasn't something I had ever said before. Not like that. Not without softening it. Not without apologizing after. But this time, I didn't. My mom crossed her arms. After everything we've done for you, there it was. The script, the guilt. The same line they used every time I questioned anything. But this time, it didn't land the same, because for the first time, I actually thought about it. Everything they had done for me, and everything I had done for them, and the balance wasn't even close. I pay rent, I said. I pay bills. I pay for things that aren't even mine. That's what family does, my mom snapped. No, I replied. That's what I do. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Because now they could hear it. Not attitude, not disrespect, truth. My dad stepped forward. You're becoming selfish, he said. Selfish. I almost laughed, almost, because that word, after everything, was unbelievable. I worked for that money, I said, and you spent it without asking. It was necessary, my mom said again. For who? I asked. Silence, because we all knew the answer. Not for me, never for me. I looked at Lily, still standing there, still not apologizing. You're okay with this? I asked. She shrugged. I mean, you'll figure it out, she said. Figure it out, like I always did, like that was my role, to fix things, to absorb the damage, to keep everything running, while she lived her life. That's when I realized something. This wasn't just my parents, this was all of them. A system. And I was the one holding it together. Without me, it wouldn't work. And they knew that. That's why they never asked. They just took, because they believed. I wouldn't stop them. That thought stayed with me, not as anger, as clarity. Because for the first time, I saw the situation exactly as it was. Not family helping each other, not temporary support, control, and I had been funding it for years. I need that money back, I said. One last time. Clear. Final. My dad shook his head. We don't have it. 3 words. Again. And this time they didn't just hurt. They ended something. Because in that moment, I stopped hoping. Stopped expecting. Stopped believing they would fix it. Because they weren't going to. They had already chosen, and it wasn't me. That night, I sat in my room, no tears, no panic, just silence, because something inside me had finally settled, not in a good way, but in a clear way. I opened my laptop, looked at my tuition portal. Deadline, tomorrow. Late fee, high. Risk of losing my place, real. And for the first time, I asked myself a question I had been avoiding. What happens if I keep staying here? Not just tomorrow, not just this semester, long term. What happens to my life if I keep choosing them over myself? The answer came fast. Too fast. Nothing changes, except me. I get more tired, more stuck, more behind, while they stay exactly the same. And that was the moment. The exact moment everything shifted. Because for the first time, I didn't feel guilty for thinking about leaving. I felt stupid for not thinking about it sooner. The next morning, I made a decision, not emotional, not impulsive, strategic, because if they thought I would keep fixing everything, they had no idea I was about to stop completely. The next morning, I didn't wake up angry. I woke up calm, and that scared me more than anything, because anger makes you react, but calm makes you decide. I sat on the edge of my bed and opened my banking app again, empty, not just low, completely drained. And for the first time, I didn't feel confused. I felt certain. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't temporary. This was a pattern, and I had been feeding it for years. I got dressed slowly, no rush, no panic, because something inside me had already shifted. When I walked into the kitchen, they were all there, like nothing had happened. My mom was cooking, my dad reading the paper, Lily scrolling on her phone. Normal, too normal. Morning, my mom said casually. I didn't respond. I went straight to the table, sat down, and said nothing. That alone changed the atmosphere. My dad looked up. What's wrong with you? I didn't answer immediately because I was thinking, not emotionally. Logically, then I spoke. I won't be paying anymore. Silence, not confusion. Shock. My mom turned off the stove. Slowly. What did you say? I said I won't be paying anymore. Lily looked up from her phone, finally interested. You can't just stop, my dad said. I nodded. Watch me. That's when the shift happened. The exact moment everything stopped being normal. My mom stepped closer. After everything we've done for you, I let her finish, because I had heard that line my entire life. Then I said it, calm, clear. You didn't do anything for me. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. My dad stood up. You live here. You eat here. We raised you. No, I interrupted. You used me. That word hit harder than anything else. Lily scoffed. That's dramatic. I looked at her. For the first time, really looked at her. No, I said quietly. It's accurate. She rolled her eyes, but there was something different now. Less confidence, more uncertainty. Because she knew. Deep down she knew. My mom crossed her arms. So what now? You're just going to abandon your family? That word, family, still used like a shield. I stood up. No, I said. I'm going to stop being your solution. Silence, because that's what I had been. Not a daughter, a solution, a backup plan, a wallet, a fix. And now that I wasn't, they didn't know what to do. I walked back to my room, and for the first time, no one followed me. That night, something changed. I noticed it first on my phone, missed calls, messages, my mom, my dad, even Lily, but not the usual tone. This time, it wasn't demands, it was panic. We can't pay the electricity bill. The rent is due. Call us back. I stared at the screen, and something inside me went quiet, because now I understood. They weren't calling me because they missed me. They were calling me because they needed me. That difference, it changes everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone. For the first time in years, I slept peacefully. The next morning, I heard shouting. Downstairs, I walked slowly to the door and stopped, because I heard Lily's voice, loud, angry. This is your fault. Silence. Then my mom. What are you talking about? We don't have money because you spent everything. I froze, because this was new. Lily had never turned on them before, ever. I walked closer, carefully. My trip got canceled, she yelled. Pause, and now I'm stuck here with nothing. That word, nothing. The same word I had felt. My dad tried to calm her. We'll fix it. How? She snapped. You took her money. You spent everything. Now what? Silence. Because there was no answer. Not anymore. I stepped into the hallway. All three of them turned, and for the first time, they all looked stressed. Really stressed. My mom spoke first. We need to talk. I shook my head. No. This isn't over, my dad said. Yes, I replied. It is. Because something had shifted, and they could feel it too. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of them needing me. I was aware of what happens when they don't have me. Collapse. Not emotional, practical, real. Bills don't get paid, plans fall apart, comfort disappears. And suddenly, the person they ignored becomes the most important one in the house. Funny how that works. That afternoon, I started packing, slowly, deliberately. My mom walked in. What are you doing? I'm leaving, I said. She laughed nervously. You can't just leave. I zipped my bag. I already did. That stopped her because she realized something. I wasn't asking. I was informing. My dad appeared behind her. This is ridiculous. No, I said. This is overdue. Silence. Lily stood in the doorway, watching. Not saying anything for once. My mom's voice softened. Where will you go? And there it was. Not anger, not control, fear. I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I'll figure it out, I said, a pause, like I always did. That line hit differently, because now it was true. I wasn't surviving them anymore. I was surviving without them. As I walked toward the door, my dad said one last thing. This is a mistake. I stopped, turned slightly. No, I said. This is just what happens when you lose control of someone who was never yours to control. Silence, no response, no argument, because there was nothing left to say. I opened the door and walked out, not into chaos, not into fear, but into something new, uncertainty, and freedom. 3 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered, and a voice I didn't expect said, "You need to come back. There's something you don't know about your money." And just like that, everything wasn't over, not even close. You need to come back. There's something you don't know about your money. The voice on the phone was unfamiliar, calm, professional, not emotional, which made it worse. Who is this? I asked. My name is Mr. Collins, he said. I handle financial matters for your parents. Financial matters. My chest tightened slightly, because suddenly this wasn't just about what they took, it was about what they did with it. What do you mean? I asked. A pause. The kind of pause that means something is about to change. There are transactions connected to your name, he said carefully, and I believe you should see them for yourself. Silence, because I didn't like the way that sounded. Not at all. I'm not going back there, I said. You don't have to, he replied. My office is separate. Another pause. Then, this involves more than just the recent withdrawals. That line stayed with me, because suddenly, this wasn't just about tuition anymore. It was about everything. I agreed to meet him, not because I trusted him, but because I needed answers, real ones. The office was quiet, clean, organized, nothing like my house. Mr. Collins greeted me at the door, polite, reserved. The kind of person who deals in facts, not feelings. Thank you for coming, he said. I didn't sit right away. Just tell me what this is about, I said. He nodded. Then placed a folder on the table. Thick. Too thick. You should look at this, he said. I opened it, and everything inside me went still. Statements, transactions, records, all in my name, but not mine. What is this? I whispered. These are financial activities linked to your accounts, he said calmly. My heart started racing. This isn't just my tuition money, I said. No, he replied. It's not. I flipped through the pages. Payments, withdrawals, transfers, months, years. They've been using your accounts for a long time, he said. Long time. I felt something cold settle in my chest. How long? I asked. Approximately 2 years. 2 years. The same time I started working. The same time I started helping. This wasn't help, I said quietly. No, he replied. This was dependency. That word hit hard. Because it wasn't emotional. It was factual. They relied on your income, he continued, and gradually expanded that reliance. Expanded, like I was a system, not a person. But there's something else, he added. Of course there was. There's always something else. He turned to another page. And this is why I called you. I looked down, and my breath caught, a loan, large, very large, taken out in my name. My hand started shaking. I never signed this, I said. I'm aware, he replied calmly. Silence. Not confusion, not disbelief. Just confirmation. They used your identity, he said. Everything inside me dropped. Because this wasn't just taking money anymore. This was something else, something bigger, something serious. They said you were aware, he added. Of course they did. Of course they lied. I leaned back in my chair, trying to breathe, trying to think. Because suddenly everything made sense. The pressure, the control, the constant need for more. It wasn't just spending, it was covering something. Something they didn't want me to see. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Mr. Collins paused, then said something I didn't expect. Because this will eventually fall back on you. That sentence cut through everything. Because now this wasn't just about the past. It was about my future again, my credit, my name, my life, all tied to something I never agreed to. What do I do? I asked. For the first time, my voice wasn't steady. He looked at me directly. You decide whether you protect them, a pause, or yourself. That choice felt heavier than anything before. Because for the first time, walking away wasn't enough. Now, I had to face them. Not as their daughter, but as someone they had wronged. And that changed everything. That evening, I went back, not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. The house looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. because now I saw it differently, not as a home, but as a place where everything had been taken from me. I walked in. They were all there, waiting. Of course they were. "We've been calling you," my mom said immediately. I didn't respond. I placed the folder on the table, hard. "What is this?" I asked. Silence, immediate, heavy, because they knew. My dad spoke first. "Where did you get that?" "Wrong question. That's not what I asked," I said. My voice was calm again. Too calm. "What is this?" My mom looked at my dad. Panic. Real panic. "We were going to tell you," she said. "Of course." Eventually, when it was too late. "You took a loan in my name," I said. Not a question. A statement. Silence confirmed it. "We had no choice," my dad said. No choice, that phrase again. Used to justify everything. "You always had a choice," I replied. "You just didn't choose me." That hit. Because this wasn't about money anymore. This was about trust, and they had broken it completely. That night, I made one final decision. Not emotional, not impulsive, permanent. Because what they did wasn't just betrayal. It was something I couldn't ignore anymore. And the next step I took was the one thing they never thought I would do. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I didn't even raise my voice, because for the first time, this wasn't emotional anymore. It was final. I stood there looking at them, really looking at them. My parents, my sister, the people I spent years trying to protect. And all I could see now were strangers. "You used my name," I said quietly. No anger, no hesitation. "You took my money. You took my future. And you lied about all of it." Silence. Because there was nothing they could say that would fix this. My mom stepped forward. "We were going to fix it," she said quickly. Fix it. That word almost made me laugh. "How?" I asked. No answer. Of course there wasn't one. Because they never had a plan. They just assumed I would keep covering everything, like I always had. My dad tried a different approach. "You're overreacting," he said. That word again. Overreacting. Even now, after everything, they still thought this was something small, something manageable, something I would get over. "No," I said. "This is the first time I'm reacting correctly." Silence, heavy, because that was the truth, and they could feel it. "I'm reporting it," I said. That changed everything, instantly. My mom's face dropped. "What?" "I'm reporting the loan," I repeated. My dad stepped forward. "You wouldn't do that." Not a question, a belief, because in their minds, I was still the same person. The one who stayed quiet, the one who fixed things, the one who chose them. But that version of me was gone. "You don't get to decide what I would or wouldn't do anymore," I said. That line landed, hard, because for the first time they realized something. They didn't have control anymore. My mom's voice softened. "Please," she said. That word I had been waiting to hear for years, but now it didn't feel the same. Because it wasn't coming from love, it was coming from fear. "If you do this," she continued, "it will ruin everything." I looked at her, calm. "Everything is already ruined," I said. Silence, because deep down, she knew it was true. Lily finally spoke. "Are you seriously going to destroy this family over money?" I turned to her slowly, because that question said everything. "This isn't about money," I said. "It's about what you all did to me." She rolled her eyes. Of course she did, because for her, it was still just inconvenience, still just something I would fix, but not this time, not anymore. "I'm done," I said. Simple, final, and for the first time, they believed it, because they could hear it. Not anger, not frustration, certainty. I picked up my bag and walked to the door. No one stopped me, no one argued, because there was nothing left to fight. They had already lost. Not the money, not the house, me. The next few weeks were quiet, not peaceful, but clear. I reported everything. The loan, the transactions, all of it, not out of revenge, but out of necessity, because for the first time I chose myself. And that meant protecting my future. Even if it meant exposing my past. I got calls, messages, apologies, promises, things I had wanted to hear for years. But now, they felt empty. Because timing matters, and they were too late. Lily tried reaching out once. "Can we talk?" she texted. I stared at it for a long time, then I realized something. There was nothing left to say, because some damage can't be undone with conversation. Only distance. Months passed, things settled, slowly, quietly. I found a small place, nothing fancy. But mine, every bill I paid, felt different, because it was for me. Every step forward felt real, because it wasn't being pulled back anymore. One evening, I got another message from my mom. "We miss you." I read it, And for a moment, I felt something, not anger, not sadness, just distance, because I finally understood something. Missing someone isn't the same as valuing them, and I had spent years confusing the two. I didn't reply, not because I wanted to hurt them, but because I needed to protect myself. And sometimes that means staying silent, standing alone, choosing peace over familiarity. They called me ungrateful because I stopped being their safety net and started becoming my own.